over some rules, because in a classroom you guys would have rules. So we kind of have rules in our virtual classroom, because Adobe Connect is our virtual classroom. So these are going to be some rules that we have anytime that we meet in Adobe, and especially over the next month when we're meeting as a class.
Okay.
So minimize distractions. What are distractions? What are some distractions that you guys might have at home that would keep us from being able to focus? Jared?
You might have some stuff just to show you, like Legos, building, or just finding another thing to do instead of actual schoolwork, or finding a way to not do schoolwork on purpose, or if you just get distracted.
Yeah, perfect. Alexa, what are some ways that we could get distracted while we're here in our Adobe sessions?
Dogs.
So dogs, maybe making sure that your dogs aren't in your room. Very good idea. I just put my dog outside because she was barking, so I figured she could go play outside instead of barking during our lesson. Very good. All right, so Amanda, I see that you raised your hand virtually. What do you have?
My phone.
What was that?
My phone.
Your phone, yeah, making sure your phone is silent, turned off, you're not on it, texting. Great idea. Trace, did you have any idea for some distractions?
Looking around the house.
Yeah, so make sure you're focusing on your computer screen and you're not just looking around or talking to somebody that's at your house. Very good. So we might not have all of these here, but we'll go ahead and add some of them if they're not. But we have turn off your TV and your radio or anything that would make noise to distract you. Headphones would be great. Make sure you have headphones plugged in, because if not, sometimes we kind of hear a double talking. And Helena and Trace have heard that with me in Adobe before, and it gets kind of confusing, huh? And then we have clear your desk of attention getters. So Jared, you cleared it from any of the modeling that you were creating. He just moved it off of his desk. Great job, Jared. So that way you're not looking at that or wanting to mess with it while we're in our classroom. And then just making sure that you focus. Really make sure your focus is on the screen and listening to your classmates, Mr. Walker and I, because this is really important information. That's why we decided to do a live lesson with it. So if you have your focus, not only are you going to learn everything you need to learn, but when you go to do your assignments that we have, you're really going to know how to do them, and you're going to have all the tools in your toolbox to complete your assignment successfully because you really focused during our lesson. So great job, guys. So then participation. What do you think that you're going to need to do to participate? What does that mean in a virtual classroom like this? Jared?
You kind of have to do things like do assignments and kind of like do things that you say, like write down something and then we can do something with that. Write it down, because that's kind of like participating, right?
Yeah, so if we ask for you to write something down, either on the whiteboard within our virtual classroom or on a piece of paper on your desk, you want to make sure that you're doing it when we ask you to do it. Very good. That's a way of participating. Alexa, I know you had raised your hand. Did you have something to add?
Yeah, like if you ask us a question, we'll have to answer it.
Yeah, so if we ask you a question, you want to answer it. Yeah, you don't want to just sit there and not answer it or not be thinking about an answer. Very good. That's another great way to participate. Anyone else have another one? Did you have something to add, Mr. Walker?
Yeah, just like you guys are doing right now. You're participating, you're jumping in, you have your cameras on, you're part of it, okay? It's very easy when we get into these rooms to just kind of sit there and not do much because you're not right there with everybody else. So when you're participating, that's great. And we're going to do some things where we break off and it's just going to be you students in a room working together and doing stuff. And it's going to be important that you participate with the other people in your room, or else we're not going to be able to get anything done, okay?
Yes, that's a great explanation. Very good. So we have turn on your camera. That way, Isn't it more fun to be able to see everybody? You know, Mr. Walker and I can see you, and you guys can see us. It's more interactive. So turning on your camera is a really good way to participate. Be ready to talk. So make sure that you're listening when a classmate's talking or when Mr. Walker and I are talking. That way you know what's going on, and when we call on you or we ask a question, you know how to answer it. And then use the chat box to ask any questions that you have. You can always type important questions over in the chat box if it's not a time where we're talking. And then use the participation buttons. And you guys have already been doing that. You guys are ahead of the ball. You're already using the participation buttons to raise your hand, which is a great idea. So you guys know what you're doing. This is our first live lesson in here. And then be respectful. What do we think could be some of the ways that we want to be respectful? To make sure that you're saying,
I guess.
yeah, being kind and saying positive things to others. Great job, Amanda.
Listen to people when they're talking.
Yeah, listening to people when they're talking, maybe not interrupting them, wait for them to finish talking. That's a great idea. Anybody else have any? Okay, so let's just do it on our slide. So listening to others, proper etiquette, some nice positive words. Very good. Great job, guys. You have them all covered. And then being patient. What are ways we can be patient? How can we do that in this setting? Jared?
Easiest thing. Waiting.
So waiting, yeah, patiently waiting.
But yeah, like when I was just waiting for this, I just went to my knuckle box and did nothing. Like I did.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Anyone else have any other ideas? Rules when we're in our session, we're going to have this full slide posted each time when we come in, and we're just going to review them quickly each time that we meet, just so that we can be reminded what type of things we should be doing as we're in our virtual classroom. Does anyone have any questions about them? And put these rules at the beginning each time that we meet in a lesson. That way we can just review and just remind ourselves of the rules of our Adobe classroom. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to bring up on the screen is I'm going to share with you some grabber and hook. So raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about when I say a grabber or a hook. So Jared, thank you for raising your hand. Okay, so a grabber or a hook is a really fun and interesting way that you can start an essay. And so, all right. And so when you start an essay or you start a piece of writing, you want your readers to be really interested and want to read your writing. If you were to put a sentence like, today I'm going to tell you about George Washington, does that sound really enticing, like that's going to make you really want to read that? Yeah, thumbs up if you agree, or thumbs down if you think maybe it should be a little more exciting. I would say thumbs down. The only way that would be really, really exciting is if you love George Washington. That is just your favorite thing in the whole wide world. But you probably want to start it off something more exciting. So this document that's in front of you are different ways that we can grab our audience's attention or hook them into reading our essay. So that's why they're called grabbers and hooks. A grabber grabs your reader's attention. And a hook, it's the same thing as a hook. And the hook, it kind of hooks them into reading your writing. So these are just some of the ways that you can start off the first sentence of your writing. And you're also going to have this under Monday's lesson. I'm going to go and import it after we get done with today's lesson. And the dialogue So you could start off with talking. So, ah, run, Sarah shouted as we, hold on one second. As soon as we saw the look on her parents' faces. Well, that's going to grab your reader because it's going to make them want to know, well, why are they running? Why are the parents' faces have that look on them? You can ask a question, because if you ask a question, the reader's going to be like, well, maybe they're going to answer that question in my essay. You can do a snapshot of a small moment, so you can describe a moment that happened to you. Sound effects, onomatopoeia, ring, ring, the phone rang. Oh, I spelled that one wrong. The phone rang and broke the awkward silence. You can do an exciting lead with exciting verbs, where you're describing something with verbs and it's going to make your reader really excited about what you're writing. And then a flashback, so something that happened in the past. So all of these are ways that you can begin your essays that are really going to grab your reader's attention. And so on Thursday, when we had our live lesson, you guys had all the materials to start planning your text. And so what I want to do is, let's see if any of you have come up with some really interesting grabbers. So this is going to be in your course. So when you guys go to write your essay tomorrow, you can use it as a reference when you want to create the first sentence of your essay. So very good, guys. So these are all different types. And these are not the only kinds of ways that you can start your essay. There's many, many ways out there. These are just a few. And so if you don't see anything on here that you are maybe 100% excited about using, you can always Google fun grabbers for writing opinion essays, or just fun grabbers or fun hooks. And they'll come up with lots of different examples for you. Alrighty.
Go ahead, Trace. What's up, buddy? Paragraph.
Okay, thank you. So with your paragraphs, when you write an essay, it's made up of multiple paragraphs. So that means more than one paragraph. And when we gave you our Oreo opinion sheet, it was for either a 4-paragraph essay or a 5-paragraph essay, depending on how many reasons that you wanted. And so we wanted to make sure we reviewed what a paragraph entails. So what types of qualities does a very good paragraph have? And so a very good paragraph is kind of like a very good essay. They have the same type of qualities. You want to make sure that you have a very good beginning that explains what your paragraph is going to be about. So that would be your topic sentence. So every paragraph needs to have a topic sentence. Okay? That's going to explain to your reader what that paragraph is going to be about. They're going to know exactly what they're going to read based on that paragraph. Now, your topic sentence, you don't necessarily want it to be, in this paragraph, I'm going to talk to you about blank. You kind of want it to be like another little mini grabber. You want it to be something that is going to interest your reader. Does anyone know what should come at the end of a paragraph? What would be your last sentence of your paragraph? You can raise your hand if you might know. Okay, Alexa, let me go ahead and give you access to your mic. I think I did it.
I did.
Oh, there we go.
Go ahead, Alexa. Go ahead, Alexa. Can you hear us? What comes at the end of a paragraph?
A conclusion, yeah. And do you know what a conclusion should have in it? You know what a conclusion, well, if you had to describe a conclusion to somebody, how would you describe it? You need some help with that one? Can anyone describe what a conclusion would have? What should a conclusion be? Oh, let's go ahead and, Amanda, let's go ahead and have you explain what a conclusion would be. on, Ms. Walker. For some reason, I can't give them access to their mic.
Okay. Go ahead, Amanda. Try it now.
A summary.
A summary. Should it be a summary of what you talked about 2 paragraphs before?
Hello. Hello.
Or should it be a summary of that paragraph that you're typing right now?
I didn't hear what you just said.
That's okay. So your conclusion is a summary. What is it a summary of?
Like what you talked about in your paragraph.
Yeah, so it's kind of tying up your thoughts. You don't necessarily want to end your paragraph on another piece of evidence or reason. You want to sum up what your whole paragraph is about. So your topic sentence and your conclusion sentence should be good overviews of what your paragraph are about, or like a main point of your paragraph. Sometimes the main idea is a really good thing to put in that topic sentence and the conclusion sentence. So we have the first part and the last part of our paragraph kind of planned out. What do we think goes in between our topic sentence and our conclusion sentence? What would go in between the two? Anybody know? Okay, Jared, you want to go ahead and let us know what would come in between our topic sentence and our conclusion sentence?
The story and or the explanation of what it is. So
Very
kind
good.
of like the inside of it, like the details, like what happens in this story. But then there must be multiple paragraphs that tell about certain things, and then there could be 2 paragraphs about the same thing, just continued. There's a lot of ways.
Yeah. So the middle of your paragraph, and we're going to really talk about opinion writing today, even though in a story it would be like a major event. One of the events would be in a paragraph. So if we're talking about an opinion writing, it's going to be your reason and evidence to support your reasons. Now, in your paragraph, you want to stick to the just one reason. You want your paragraph to be about one topic, not necessarily a bunch of topics. So if one of your reasons about why you like chocolate is because chocolate can give you lots of energy and you need lots of energy, you want to make sure your paragraph only talks about chocolate and energy. You don't want to, in that same paragraph, talk about how chocolate is really good. So you want to make sure you stick to the same topic within your paragraph. So you have a topic sentence that explains what you're going to be talking about, and then the middle is going to be your reasons and evidence. So you're going to have a couple sentences that talk about the reasons and evidence for your opinion. And then you're going to, oh, there you go. And then you're going to have a conclusion. Now, how many sentences do you think that your paragraph should be? You think just like 1 or 2 sentences? Hold up some fingers to show me how many sentences you think maybe your paragraph should have. Just an estimate, because each paragraph is different. Okay, so I see 4, I see 5. Ooh, Mr. Walker, 8. I like that. Okay, I see. Elena, thank you. Okay, Jared has 5, maybe 10. All right, 5 from Amanda. You guys are, all correct. A paragraph doesn't have a set number of sentences. There's not a perfect amount of sentences, but anywhere from, I would say, 4 to 8, 4 to 9 sentences would probably be a good amount of sentences, because you want your paragraph to stick to the point. You want to make sure you get all of your reasons and evidence out, and you want to make sure you have that topic sentence and that conclusion sentence. So it's really nice and structured. Now, you might have one paragraph in your essay that only has 5 sentences, and you might have a paragraph that maybe has 8 sentences, because you have more evidence and more reasons for one topic and not as many for another, and that's okay. That's kind of like sentence structure and sentence fluency. Not all of our sentences have the same amount of words. Some sentences you need to add more details and information to, and some don't need as much. Very good. So what we're going to do, guys, today is we are going to go into what we call breakout rooms. And so you each are going to go into a breakout room, and I'm going to give you each a partner to work with. Amanda and Alex, I think we're going to put you in one room since you guys have your partners there live with you. But I'm going to stick you with a partner, and what we're going to do is we have a couple sentences that are out of order. And so these sentences make up a paragraph. And what you're going to have to do in your room is you're going to have to move the sentences around to where they make the paragraph in proper order. So your paragraph is going to have a topic sentence, all of the reasons and evidence, and then a conclusion. And the way that you move around the sentences is over on your left-hand side, you have tools, and there's a little arrow tool. It looks like a mouse pointer right there. What you do, if you want to move something around, you click on the words or the sentence, and it's going to give you a little dotted box around it. And you click on that box, and you can move that sentence around. So if you can see how I'm moving topic sentence, I've moved it to different spots on the whiteboard. And it might take you a little bit of practice to get it the first time. So what you're going to do in our breakout rooms is you're going to move those sentences to where you can see if your paragraph in a nice order. Have it make sense in a nice order where it has that topic sentence, your reasons and evidence, and then your conclusion. So we're going to go ahead and do the breakout room. So Amanda and Alex, I'm going to put you in one room because you guys are together and already have your partners with you. I'm going to let Trace, you and Jared work together, and then I'm going to have Helena. I'm going to have you and Alexa work together. Jared, do you have a question?
Alexa said I can't hear you guys really well.
Okay, Alexa, do you knowing what to put them in order, would you have been able to put your paragraphs in order if you didn't know what a topic sentence was? Would you know where that went? Thumbs up if you think you could without knowing what a topic sentence is, or thumbs down if you couldn't put it in order. Probably not. If you didn't know what a topic sentence was, you wouldn't know that it came at the beginning of a paragraph, right? Same thing with a concluding sentence. If you didn't know what a concluding sentence was supposed to look like, you would have no idea what was supposed to go at the end of a paragraph, because that's kind of your starting and ending point. You can really easily put those in place. Those are kind of easier to find. Now, in the middle part, how did you know which sentence came first? What did you use to tell you which sentence came first? Which one of the detailed sentences came first? What did you guys use? You can raise your hand if you know. And I know, Jared, you had your hand raised. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Okay, there's two things I wanted to say. First thing was, the reason why I did maybe is because some people might have figured it out, and I'm just saying, and then the second is that you figure out what to put in the middle. So there's the first, then, and then what you kind of do is you kind of figure out kind of what makes sense if you put it in a certain order. Then you do that, and then finish it.
Perfect. Do you know what those words are called? The first, then, after that? What do we call those words? Trace? What do we call the words first, then, and after that, Trace? You can talk, Trace. Your microphone's on.
Transition words.
Yes, perfect. Transition words. So transition words are ways that we know what comes before something, what comes after something. And so transition words are a really important part of a paragraph, but also part of an essay. There are ways that you can begin sentences that help the reader know in order how they come, or to move from one subject to another subject. And so we're going to review transition words on Wednesday because we have taken up an hour of your time. You guys have been really great troopers with all of our technical difficulties, and you guys have all participated and followed all the rules. And so we went over quite a bit today. So when we meet on Wednesday, we're meeting at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, I believe it is. When we meet on Wednesday, we're going to talk about transition words, citing evidence, and then really good conclusions. And so what I want you guys to do is think about what we went over today, and then think about citing evidence and conclusions and transition words, and we'll review that on Wednesday. But you guys have the assignment in the course tomorrow. What's your job for tomorrow, your assignment for tomorrow, and you'll see it under Tuesday, is you're going to take that planning piece that you created about whether or not students should be able to switch classes, and you're going to be turning it into an essay. And so I want you to make sure that you have a really, really good topic sentence, a really good grabber that's going to grab your reader's attention. And make sure that each of your paragraphs have a topic sentence, really detailed details and reasons, and a really good conclusion. And what we're going to do is on Wednesday, we'll review your writing, and we'll also talk about citing evidence and those transition words. Okay, and you have some information already about citing evidence because we've been using the RACE strategy all year. So you guys should have some papers in your ELA section of your binder that talks about how you can cite evidence in the proper way to use parentheses. So pull that out of your ELA binder and let it help you edit your essay when you're done writing it. So you're going to follow the directions for Tuesday's writing. It has detailed directions on what I want you to do to help us get ready for our FSA writing. Does anybody have any questions before we leave? If you don't,